Welcome everybody. We have Sir Oliver joining us today. He just got his fresh cut, so he's feeling fine. Oh, we're having him on mic. We're good. All right. As we get the stress yawn. Yes, that was a stress yawn. All right, guys. So we have a few questions. We had a video of. Oh, are we still on the crate videos? Oh, great. Great. All right. This is from our How Long Can Your Puppy Be in the Crate? One person wrote, how do you get him to stop barking all day long when I'm at work? I get notifications every 15 minutes on the camera. He's barking. Well, normally, so I will say this. Most of the time, if you put a dog in the crate, only when you leave the house, that tends to create a negative association in the crate. Your actual goal is to do crating when you're home with your puppy. So you leave, dog is in the crate, dog doesn't do crating when you're home, creates a negative association because the dog is basically only associating with you leaving. What you actually want to do is you want to get them on a schedule for when you're home with them at the house. 2 hours in, hour out. 2 hours in, 2 hours out, depending on the age, depending on the maturity, depending on the temperament of your dog. The main reason that we do that is because it's building on understanding that they're in the crate for a shorter amount of time with the ability to come out of the crate, go potty, do a little bit of training, do a little bit of work and walk and play, also doing a little bit of supervised separation, existing around you but not having access to you in the home. So all of that does, it builds a balance around the crate, so then when your dog goes in the crate, there's a better understanding that they'll come out earlier. And as your dog gets older and more mature, let's say year and a half, you could probably get 4, 5, 6, 7 hours from your dog in the crate. I have one of our dogs stays home in the crate all day long. She does about 8 hours. I come home at the 4-hour mark, and the joke I always make to my friends is I'll come home, my dog will come out to pee, she'll come check in with me, maybe get a couple little head rubs, and by the time I leave, I go look for her, and she's back in the crate, hanging out, waiting for me to close the door so she can get her last couple hours of rest before I go back to work and then come home to let her out again. So puppies really do enjoy their crate, but a young puppy can't stay in the crate all day long when you're gone. Even if you do like a little crate setup, they're probably still going to bark, but it's more about acclimating them to the crate when you're home. What are some things you could do? You could do a puppy meditation. If you go on YouTube, we've got some great puppy meditation videos out there. Our online school also has some really, really great puppy meditation videos where it's taking all the commands your dog knows associated with house and slowing them down. Walking up to the crate, pausing, having them sit. Putting them in the crate, having them sitting down if they're capable of doing that, if they're that far in their training. Closing the door, pausing, open the door, pausing. They try to come out, no. Close the door. Make sure that you only open it enough that if they do try to come out, you can close it pretty quickly without it bonking them in the nose. We're not trying to hit them with the crate door. We're just trying to create a boundary and a threshold. So when they see that door open, they don't assume they can bolt out of it, which creates impulse. They have to wait and sit, which creates impulse control, which is really what we're trying to target. And then once they come out of the crate, we have them sit one more time, they come out of the crate, and then we just go back and forth, in and out, in and out, in and out. So it associates that going in and coming out of the crate as a calm routine that actually puts their mind at ease. I personally love this routine because this is the routine that gets you a calm puppy. We call it calm crate pattern, calm place pattern, because I can do it with my place, like my dog bed, my cot, whatever I use, and I can also do it with the house or the crate. So it's just a calming routine to make your puppy a little bit more relaxed. A couple other tips, and I have a lot of crate questions, so this is probably going to answer quite a few of them, so I might reference back to them. The whole thing about the crate is that whenever they go in the crate, it's just to create calm. So when you have your dog out of the crate, we start our free time with usually walk and play, get some of that bigger energy out. Then I go to training to help use some of that mental energy, that stimulation, and then I go to supervised separation. The supervised separation is probably one of the most important things that we do because this is what teaches your dog to be on their dog bed in a 5x5 little area where they can exist without having access to us. If you have a really small puppy, you can use a playpen. If they bark, if they bark a lot in the playpen, that might just mean that they have a boundary frustration, which means they see something holding them back and they'll bark through it to get to you guys. My recommendation, I know Bethany's as well, is to do a back tie tether. Meaning that you have their harness on, a leash clipped to it, and I tether that area, like I tie the leash off to something that they can't drag, and they may have like a 5x5 little like half moon circle with the dog bed, a couple toys, usually no water or food because we give that the end of free time, and it allows their brain to relax. Because they've already got their physical with the walk and play. They got their mental with the training. And now everything following, you're just allowing them to settle. And then you can calmly, at the end of that, pick them up, put them in the crate, close it, lock it, cover it with the towel, put on a noise machine like a little new, music box. You could even do a Google Home or a Alexa Echo thingy dot thing, and then you can put on a soundtrack of Friends playlist, YouTube playlist, anything that allows their brain to hear something that's repetitive and it actually soothes the dog. It might keep them awake a little bit, but really what they want is they want noise. They want something their brain can lock onto, and it allows them to desensitize and actually eventually calm down and go to sleep. So that would be my recommendation. And most of our crate questions will probably get referred to this unless it's something a little bit different. Kimberly, was there a question?
Yes, we have a follow-up question about the crate, and then there's one about walking, which is...
I love it. Can you scroll it for me? You want to go to the very top?
This one is about the crate, if you just want to tag on to it.
Can you scroll up? All right, so this is from Chelsea. Oh, and by the way, anyone who wants to throw questions at us for the actual live, you can throw them into the in the chat bar, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, wherever you guys want, and we'll always try to answer them if we can. So one person. So then you say the crate should be where they can see you during the day? Nope, the opposite. If they can see you during the day, that's like me putting my sleeping bag on a main highway or main thoroughfare. There's constant stimulation keeping me awake. We actually want to move it as far away from the main living area as possible, usually to a bedroom, master bedroom, somewhere you're not going to be throughout the day, laundry room, guest bedroom, wherever you can. And that's why I cover it with the towel, put on the noise machine, the music machine. The reason I do the noise machine, the music machine, is because it's a step below them hearing our voices. Ideally is I don't want any noise in that room. I don't want the noise machine. I don't want the sound machine. I don't want the YouTube soundtrack. But I can wean off of that slowly. I normally have the white noise machine at a loud volume to drown out the outside noise outside that room. And I have the YouTube soundtrack a little bit closer to the crate. And that's something that they can cue into and kind of think about. And then as they get better and better, that YouTube soundtrack goes down a little bit. The volume goes down. The white noise machine eventually goes down a little bit, and then I eliminate both, and my dog is still sleeping in the crate. The reason we cover it with the towel on 3 sides of the front, both sides, and leave the back open, maybe with some indirect airflow from a fan in the room, is because we don't want them seeing out of it and seeing all the light. It's like if I go home to take a nap on my lunch, and there's sunlight streaming to hit me in the face, I won't be able to nap. I'm going to have that light in my face. So we want to make it easier for them to go to sleep, and you want to try to replicate a den. A den for a dog is a quiet comfort zone that they can rest and relax in. You're doing pretty good, dude. Oh, it's because you're distracted by all the outside dogs. That makes a lot more sense. You said there was one more question that got thrown in?
Yes. Dizzy D asks, my pup has become reactive, barking on walks. I'm rewarding her quiet. Am I wrong? Want her to stop.
All right. I'm rewarding quiet. I'll be honest. Rewarding when... Okay, gotcha. For our question... Oh, and by the way, guys, if you guys want to read these questions as they're coming in, it'll just save a couple seconds of me rereading them to you. My pup has become reactive, barking on walks. I'm rewarding when quiet. Am I wrong? Want her to stop. I'll be honest. Most of the time when you reward when they're quiet, they don't actually make the connection that they're being rewarded for not barking. They might even consider it just free food. So what I would probably try to do is I would try to redirect from the dog on the walk. So my dog sees the dog, and you have a window. It's called a mental threshold in the dog's brain, meaning that when they hit that threshold and they surpass the threshold, that's when they start barking. Most dogs, they can be worked under threshold, but when you hit it, that's when it's done for. Under threshold means that you're walking down the block. I got little Oliver cruising, do. He sees the dog outside, he locks into it, and then a second later he starts barking. I know, thank you. And then a second later he starts barking. What that basically is him saying is he's seeing it and he's starting to load. That's a dog training phrase. Loading means he's loading stimulation, he's loading anxiety, he's loading aggression or fear. And I'm not saying your dog has aggression or fear. I'm just saying that they're loading some form of emotion that hits that threshold, and when they hit it, they explode. When he looks at the dog, let's go, step back, a little bit of pressure to the side. When your dog eventually looks away, start walking away. Your dog is still going to be looking over his shoulder trying to see that dog. Don't turn back yet. You keep walking away until your dog eventually is like, fine, what do you want from me? Looks forward, glances at you, good. I might redirect back to the dog, ask for a sit, reward, good, or keep going away if my dog can't look at the dog without reloading or getting overstimulated again. You're just trying to redirect them away. But I'll be honest, if you feel like you truly have a reactive dog, this is not the show that's going to help you. You guys need training. You need someone to come to your house, do some one-on-one training where they work with you in your neighborhood, in your area, whether it's with training tools or without. I don't really know who you'd use, but my recommendation is look for a balanced dog trainer who has experience working with puppies who are beginning to show reactive states. And reactive doesn't mean aggressive, guys. Everyone assumes, oh, reactive dog, your dog's gonna bite my dog. No, it doesn't mean that. Reactive just means they see, they think, they respond in a way that we don't like. That's what reactive means. So we want to then try to redirect some of that reactivity to a different direction. Okay, I know there's another question that just came in, Kimberly. I'm gonna read a few more that sent them in ahead of time, then I'll get to that one in a second. Okie dokie. This is from Clarissa. My dog sleeps in the crate just fine, but as soon as I get up, he howls while I'm getting ready for our walk. What can I do? I ignore him, but is that okay? Is he howling because he's got to go potty? So if you wake up and you don't let him out right away and he starts howling, could be because he has to go to the restroom. What I might try doing is I wake up. The first thing I do in waking up is I get on my pajama pants, my robe. I put my dog on their harness. I take him outside for a quick potty. Then I bring them back inside. Then they go back to the crate, and if that's when they start howling, that's demanding. I probably won't acknowledge that. I might just let them kind of work it out on their own. If it's 5-10 minutes, easy. If we're talking 30 minutes to an hour, then you probably need to get your puppy a little out of the crate a little bit sooner because they're probably just agitated that you're waking up, you're moving around, and they're not being responded to. I would try to maybe leave them for 10-15 minutes, see if they stop barking, and if they don't, then I'd tackle it a slightly different way. Try that out, come back to us, let us know how it works. This was from Erica. My puppy is 5 months. Is it too late to crate train? No, absolutely not. Oh, and Chelsea says, he was so small, I slept with him in my bed, but I desperately want to get him to sleep alone. You're screwed. No, I'm just kidding. You're not, but you're kind of screwed. A dog that slept with you in your bed for 5 months, it's just going to be a lot harder. I'll be honest, being straightforward. If they have slept in bed with you, they probably have quite a bit of separation anxiety, whether you realize it or not. The easiest way to tell is pop them in the crate for an hour and a half, let them out of the crate for an hour, and just see how that works throughout the day, not at night. You do that at night right away, and you're probably not going to be getting any sleep, and you're going to be coming at me, yelling at me next week. Do it throughout the day, acclimate them to the crate during the day, and then slowly start introducing them to the crate at night as well. And not slowly, I mean put them in the crate, expect about 5-6 hours of sleep. That's a pretty good amount for a 5-month-old puppy who's never slept in the crate before. And it might be easier than you think it is. But I think the daytime crating is going to be a little bit more difficult. What was the breed? Did I get a breed here? I didn't get a breed. If it's some of our more driven puppies, you might have a little bit more trouble because they tend to have higher stimulation, which means that they won't be able to stay in the crate as long. I'm thinking of like wiener dogs. Wiener dogs tend to be super, super crate anxious in the beginning unless you get them in there at a very young age and you kind of acclimate to it quickly. But yeah. Different breeds should be easier than others. And I'm zipping through these guys because I got a ton of questions. I want to make sure I can get to as many as possible. Oh, this is from our video. This is how to really get your puppy to stop biting you. One person asked, what if your dog is not food driven and treats don't work? You got to create drive. You got to create drive with food. So that means that all of your meals are now hand fed and they're all for training. Meaning that if I pull out my kibble, I put it in my training pouch, I try to get my dog to work for their meal, and they don't want to work for the meal, you can skip that meal. Come back for the next meal, same food, same pouch, try to work for that meal. Still doesn't want it, skip that meal too. Next meal, same thing. Your dog can't go more than a day or two of skipping meals, but most dogs are pretty motivated to work for their food when they realize it's not going to hit a bowl. So you're trying to build more drive for that food, and there is no free food, there's no free treats, there's no coming back from a walk and getting a treat because the walk is really fun. It's all training. I'd take my food on my walk with me. I would have a pouch on me with food all day long at all times when my puppy is not in the crate. So your puppy starts learning that you are not this vending machine just giving out free food. Your association, your puppy, is they come to you to work, they get food as a result of it. Most of the time it only takes about 3-4 days of doing this before they're starting to work for food on their walks, working for food instead of getting meals. And then that association is, I work for my meals and I want to work for mom or dad. You just want them to work for the meals so they have a better understanding that you want something from them and they have to earn it from you as well. It's almost like a mutual transaction. Another person wrote, I have a Doberman puppy that I train every day and he still continues to bite me. And my husband specifically in the morning and at night. Maybe check out a slip lead. Slip leads are really, really awesome tools. You can even make them into like a little figure 8 to get a little bit more head control. The biggest thing though is when I have a dog nipping me constantly, I try to think about the rules, the boundaries, and the relationship. That's the big word, relationship. Are we giving a ton of free affection? Are we trying to cuddle and coddle our puppy and maybe they're not that type of puppy? Most German Shepherds don't want affection and love. They want to work. Most Australian Shepherds don't want to sit with you on the couch and cuddle for an hour. They want to work. So if you have a dog that's more of a working breed dog, then Doberman. Yeah. Dobermans don't really want pets. They want to work all day long. So I would say that you probably need a little bit more time working with your dog. If I were to give you a ratio of work to love, I would say 5 times work, 1 times love. So if I do a 10-minute training session, that might equal a minute to 2 minutes of affection at the end of that training session. And think about how we give love, guys. If I have Oliver right here, and I'm like, you're such a good boy, and I love you so much, and I just love my kisses, and I want all my love, this dog is not going to sit on my lap for the next 10 minutes calmly. Like he's already starting to get fussy and move around. But if I have him by my side, and it's like, well, look, I can barely control him. So now I have to kind of backtrack a little bit. Hey, settle down. It was like a firm pressure, like a hug almost. Like if you have a kid having a temper tantrum, we kind of do the bear hug until our kids calm down. And then I'll get a hand on the back, and then I'll do a slow, hey, shh. Slow massaging pressure. And you saw how good he was doing. The last 20 minutes, he was amazing. But just one high energy, a moment of affection, completely offset him. But look how he's kind of melting into my hands. I still feel this like tense body, tense shoulders, but I'm getting a deep pressure. Oh, there's this melt. I feel him starting to calm down, starting to settle. He's probably at his threshold anyways for being on my lap. He probably wants to go back to do some training and work, but I can feel him giving in just with this deep pressure massage. So that's really kind of what I'm looking for is after a training session, what you reward with affection is what you're promoting. So if my dog is high energy and I'm petting him, I'm promoting the eventual nipping that the high energy leads to. If I got a dog just melting in my arms like this now, and I'm petting him and I'm rewarding it, I'm rewarding a calm, happy dog. That's what I'm targeting. So I'm going to pass Oliver off because I think he has kind of had his range of how much affection, how much cuddles he wants. Thank you. But the whole thing is, this is actually a phrase that we heard one of our trainers say one time, and we love it. We've used it for years now. What you pet is what you get. You pet energy, you get energy times 1,000. You pet calm, you still get some energy, but you get a lot less of it. But you're trying to target the temperament you want when you give affection. I'll be honest though, if you still get the nipping, none of my advice works. You can try coming back next week, but there might be a chance where I just say, hey, I'd recommend looking at a trainer, balanced dog trainer that works with puppies and works with more dominant breeds, work with bigger working breeds. And you're probably looking for someone that can give you a structured regimen of training that's going to use up a majority of the dog's energy. You're not trying to run out these dogs, guys. Everyone assumes that, oh, my puppy's big and they're a working breed. I need to walk them for 2-3 miles every day. Great. In 6 months, you're walking them for 7. What you're actually trying to do instead is you're trying to work their brain, not the body. The brain can only work for a young puppy for about 15 to 30 minutes. And I'm talking 30 minutes is a long time for a puppy. 15 minutes is a great number. Do 15 minutes of calm training. Play, sit, good, pause, treat. Come, sit, good, pause, treat. Play, sit, down, good, pause, treat. Come, sit down, good, pause, treat. All those repetitive movement commands with short pauses in between allows a dog to focus on something and slowly work through all that mental stimulation. The body still has all that energy. They're not going to be calm just because you worked them. Now they're going to want to do zoomies around your house. So that's why I always say keep a leash on your dog at all times when they're out of the crate, especially for young puppies, because when you're done training and they want to do zoomies, that's ideally when you want to do some play stimulation. Put them on place, have them sitting down, use food every couple minutes or even a couple seconds depending on the energy. And once they settle, then you can try to get a little bit more time out of them. And if they can't handle that, supervised separation with the back tie or put them in the crate. They might just need a nap. After a lot of work and the dog is mentally overstimulated physically, not mentally, or that didn't make sense. If you've mentally stimulated your dog through training, and now they're almost like there's this huge amount of energy physically, they're gonna wanna go zoom, zoom. So you put them in the crate, they take a nap, they go to sleep, they come out an hour and a half later, well rested, full energy, but calm energy. Or do that back tie if they're pretty good on place or in their little area. But you can play around with it. And Kimberly, I see that we have a few questions. I'm gonna finish this page and then I'll answer a few of those questions. But yeah, Doberman, working breed, you wanna make sure that you're not giving too many pets. Oh, there's one more thing I wanna say for that one. Ha, distracted, ADHD. When you are getting nipped at, and you have that leash on, it's okay to put pressure on that leash. Most of the time, if I get severe nipping and I wasn't petting them, I wasn't giving it, I'm just getting drive-by nips, I can pick up that leash, kind of hold with one hand, put my hand underneath the longer part of the leash connecting to the dog, almost like I'm doing a Y and my leash goes over the middle. I can go up and out. Hey, settle down. So you can see my hand. Hey, settle down. Short pause. The leash is high enough to where all four of my dog's paws are on the ground, but his head is going up a little bit. And what he does when he feels that is he goes, what the heck is that? It's almost like a discomfort, not painful, just uncomfortable. And when he feels that, he goes, okay, let me fight a little bit. He fusses, trying to bite still. And eventually he's like, and just kind of goes limp. Not because he's choking, just because he's given up. He's given up the fight. The minute he goes limp, it's a slow, good, slow release of pressure. He does it again. Hey, settle down. Pressure, slow release when he settles down. Most of the time, it's like a temper tantrum or just like this explosion of energy that they can't control. You can help them control it by adding a little bit of tension in the leash to settle them down. If you feel uncomfortable doing that, hire a balanced dog trainer. They can teach you guys how to do it in person in your home. So something to check out. And this is still back to our crate questions. Any advice for my boxer who's 4? He has been in a crate for 3.5 years. As he has severe separation anxiety, he still cries and panics when I go in the crate. He is so anxious when he knows I am leaving. He is not left more than 3 to 4 hours max. Frankly, I'll do what I recommended earlier, which is doing some kind of calm crate pattern. And it sounds like you might actually have true crate anxiety, which means that separation anxiety has hit the second stage, which I call like full-blown separation anxiety, which is no longer an addiction to attention, which is what most of our puppies have. I don't think I know a single puppy who doesn't have some form of separation anxiety. The first version, addiction to attention, which means that they're pushing toys on you. They're begging for your attention to go play, things like that. They just want to be out of the crate because they want to be around you playing. An addiction to affection is the second version. And that's where they have a physical need to be around you, because if they don't, they feel like they've lost something. There is no need, it's a want, but in their brain it's become a need. That's very different. And anytime I see that, I always say, I recommend you hire professional help, private dog trainer coming to your house, looking at your setup, helping you work through it, calm crate pattern, calm place pattern, structure when the dog comes out of the crate, structure when the dog is in the crate. All throughout the day, you got to give a super regimented schedule, because dogs who have severe separation anxiety, they rely on a routine, and that routine has to be strict. It's not for us. It's for them to help balance out their brain and balance out that separation anxiety they have. All right, last one. Can you leave the crate door open? Leave it as a safe space. Plan to sleep in the same room as puppy on floor for the first few days at home. I mean, you could if that's what you're going for. It's not going to crate train them though, so the minute you close that door, they're probably still going to cry and whine again. How you're treating it is based like a dog bed. I'd recommend just getting a dog bed, honestly. I mean, unless you want to just put it in the bedroom, put like a couple blankets over it so it's a dark space, and you're already giving them free room to kind of walk around and move around and go into that crate whenever they want. But that's not what we're promoting here with these crate videos. It's not doing what we're saying is going to happen. Or it's not going to do what we're saying in the video is going to help you with. Because all it is basically a dog bed that they have access to whenever they want. So yes, of course you can do it, but it's not going to help you with separation anxiety or things like that. I can answer a few questions up here. Do we have any questions over here? Or is it off of one of my questions on my paper? All right. This is from Norris. My puppy has periods of calm while in the crate, but she also has times where she just cries and barks for a period of time. Do I just ignore and she will get used to it, get used to the crate? On that one, yeah. I mean, the fact that you're getting moments of calm, moments of energy, just means that she's still acclimating to it. You might want to do a couple calming routines when she's coming in and out of the crate. Like, think about when you open your crate. Does your dog blast out like they're trying to go through a wall? Or they just kind of wait and sit, pause, you release them with your release word break, okay, free, whatever you guys use, and then they just walk out calmly. That's kind of what I'd be targeting. I'd be targeting the mindset of my dog in and out of the crate. When they're going into the crate, are they fighting me? Do I need to work them in and out of it a few times? When I open the door to let them out, are they shooting out like a bullet? Do I need to close that door, make them back off and settle, open it, wait them out, finally release them? Are they coming out hot when I do finally release them? And if so, I should go back and forth in the crate. I should put them in there, close the door, open it, release them, right back in it, close door, open it, release them. And finally, when they're kind of walking out more calmly, that's when I'll let them stay out of it, and that's when I do my whole potty routine. But yeah, that one's a little bit more difficult because if your puppy's stopping, that means they partially understand it, and I bet you those points of them stopping barking will get better and better, more and more, then the parts of the barking in the crate will become less and less. They're acclimating to it. You're not getting separation anxiety, or a small bit of it. You're not getting full-blown separation anxiety. You're getting a dog who's learning what the crate is supposed to mean. One thing I'll say is if your dog ever does bark, don't let them out of the crate, and if you're only doing a short window of like 20-30 minutes in the crate, it's not enough. You probably need an hour to an hour and a half so they can acclimate, work through the barking, and get 30-40 minutes of calm. Bark for another 10 minutes, have another 15-20 minutes of calm. Now their hour to their hour and a half is up, and I bring them out of the crate in the way that I already mentioned. So you're creating calm through routine. You're doing repetition to help them settle in the crate for a longer period of time, or just making it so you don't release them when they are barking in the crate. Okay, this is from Chris Kid. Is Yorkies a good puppy to get for my girls? Yorkies are good, but they're high energy, and they do tend to nip a lot when they're puppies, or at least the ones that come to our school do, and most of the ones that I train outside of Puppy Academy. They just tend to be high energy breeds. They also tend to, I feel like they relate and they like owners, like the adults, a bit more than young kids. Usually if I want to get a good dog for my kids, I would get a Cavalier King Charles. They can be really sweet, they can have energy as puppies, they're incredibly lovable, and they like to get pets as well as training. So they have both, you get a little bit of both worlds with them. I would say if I could pick the perfect small family dog to have on any kind of like a urban environment, it would probably be Cavalier King Charles. Big dogs, I think Golden Retrievers are pretty good dogs for families with kids because they keep up with it and they're not super pushy and jumpy, whereas Labs do tend to throw their body weight around a lot and they tend to be very, very high energy. And if I were to get a Lab, I'd probably get a white Lab because they tend to be lower energy in the beginning and they have a little bit more energy as they get older. Black Labs, brown Labs tend to be super high energy at a young age and they balance out as they get older. So just some things to think about. I have a friend who lets her puppy heal her.
That's a comment. That's
On what?
a story about why we support crate training. That's an extreme.
Oh, I love it. Okay, Kimberly threw a special one in for me. This was a comment from one of the people that commented on our crate video. I won't say their name, so I won't call anyone out. Kimberly told me I shouldn't do that anymore. Go West. I have a friend who has a puppy healer who roams free. She came home to her stove clicking. Her entire home was filled with gas because the dog kept jumping up to get leftover food sitting. Oh, this is good. Yeah, Go West. I like you, Go West. You gave us a great example. This is the definition of why we don't leave dogs at home who aren't already acclimated to being out of the crate. They've already showed us months and months of calm not being in the crate because this dog triggered the gas. The starter was going. Thank God hadn't turned over, but the gas was flooding their apartment. One, it could have killed the dog. And two, if that dog hit it one more time and it started the burner and that pilot light ignited, that whole apartment would have went up in flames. It would have killed the dog, probably would have killed a lot of people in that apartment building. This is the definition of why we don't leave dogs out of the crate who aren't acclimated to it. And I know you got some people out there that probably have amazing dogs that never did a day of wrong in their life. And those ones, this isn't for you guys. This is for our young puppies who are opportunists, which most puppies are. Getting into things, jumping up on stoves, jumping up on counters, they can get themselves into trouble. Definition of an accident is an unplanned event with negative consequences. Go West, I'm very happy that nothing happened to your friend's dog. But thank you so much for throwing this example on, and I'm sorry for calling out your name. I thought you were going the opposite direction with this. Made me very happy.
Okay with sharing it.
I love it. You got to go, Wes. Keep it up. All right, another one. Getting a puppy soon. I'm an experienced dog owner, but I am contemplating on whether I will need a playpen or if just a crate will be fine. Please help. I mean, it's preference, I guess. If you want crate training, then I would suggest using the crate. If you want your puppy to have more freedom around the home and they're an easy puppy, you could probably get away with the playpen. Most people who come to my show, though, don't have an easy dog. That's why they're here. So I hope that you have an easier dog and you may not need all the crate training, but most dogs will benefit from it. Not just for potty training, that's just where it starts, but for structure, for learning boundaries and rules in the home, for being a well-rested dog. Most puppies I'd say between 4 and 6 months or under 4 months, they're looking to need about 18 to 20 hours of sleep a day. Dogs that are over 6 months or dogs under 6 months that are working breeds to need about 16 to 18 hours a day. But yeah, I mean, it's really just kind of figure out what your puppy needs. If they're an easy puppy, you can probably get away with doing less crate, having a little bit more free time. I'd still put them on a leash just so you know what they're doing when they're out of the crate, and it gives you better boundaries. But yeah, it really just comes down to preference and temperament of a puppy. I know a lot of dogs that would benefit tremendously from being in the crate for a prolonged period of time. I know a lot of dogs that only need maybe 2 hours in the crate and have 2 hours of free time. No issues whatsoever. But it all depends on the dog, the owner, and their schedule. What time is it? Am I going super far over? I'm going to go one more question. Let's do one from that because I can save these ones for next week. What else do we have over here? Oh, that's a good one because it's an 8-week-old puppy. I'll answer this one first because it's an easy one. This is from Janelle. Is a mini Bernedoodle a working dog? Well, poodles are working dogs. The Bernie's Mountain Dog, you know. They call them burners for some reason. I don't know why, but I kind of like it. A Bernese Mountain Dog is a working dog, but not what you're thinking. So they're not high energy working dogs. Poodles are, but I would say a mini Bernedoodle will have high energy as a puppy, but when they get older, they balance out pretty well. We had an owner that had 2 of them. Very, very good genetics. Actually, was like the tall size, not the short one. And these dogs had high energy, but it didn't take a long time to work it out of them. So working dog, no, I'd say happy family dog. From Chelsea, what about 8-week-old nipping with kids? I need a breed. Breed helps tremendously. It's not excessive, but trying to get ahead of it. That's awesome. Did I get another comment with an age? No, that's okay. Can you go back to it? My dyslexia means I got to read it like 7 times.
Okay.
Well, thank you. All right. I would say that one of the fun things I do with kids that come to my lessons is I ask the parents to buy all of them those like $6 pouches on Amazon. And I say, go buy a couple markers, like magic marker, permanent marker, whatever you need, and have all the kids design their own training pouches. And all the kids get their own little pouch of kibble in there. You can put a little Ziploc bag in it to not get them dirty. And then whenever the puppy comes out of the crate, all of my kids are wearing pouches. Not my kids because I don't have kids, but all my kids are wearing pouches on their hips, 1 pouch, and they're all working with the dog. So puppies that come out of the crate for that type of family, they don't come out for play and walk. They come out for training, and training can be a walk as well. But let me give an example. Puppy comes out on leash, always on leash. Mom and dad are holding the leash, and the kids are the ones working with the puppies. Puppy gets ready to jump. Mom or dad can kind of step between puppy and kid, walk in, no, give like a little bump with their arms, a little bump with their leg. We're not trying to Muay Thai knee them in the face. We're trying to just do like a little baby bump, just to kind of back them off from that jump. And the second you redirect that jump, or that you block that jump, you then want to redirect them to command. So an example being no on the jump, come, play, sit, good, treat. Have your kids do the most basic command ever. It's called our relationship building exercise. It basically just means name recognition and come. Say the dog's name, show them the food, say come, walk back 3 to 5 steps, mark good when they start following, and then give them the treat when they do. Do that 10 to 20 times per kid. And by the end of that, your puppy's going to be tired. But now your puppy doesn't associate your kids with nipping. They associate them with training. And then at the end of that, each kid gets a turn to do about a minute of affection each, maybe 2, but if you have multiple kids, it might be too long if you have a lot of kids. If they just sit down on the ground next to the dog's bed, the dog is exhausted, you might even be holding food in front of their face, counter conditioning the nipping, and as they eat the food, the kids are doing like a deep pressure massage on the dog's back. A calming routine versus a high energy routine. Calming is soothing pets. Pets like what you saw with Oliver. I was giving him kisses, loving on his face. He lost it. He went crazy after for like 20, 30 seconds. And then I had to really settle him back down. What you pet is what you get. A tired dog from training, or tired puppy from training, relaxed on the bed, getting deep pressure massages, perfection. That's how you teach your dog to see your kids as a leadership figure, not siblings, not playmates, not litter mates. Okay. Okay, guys, we're going to leave it at that. That was actually a lot of great questions. Love all of these.
If they submitted a question and we didn't get to it, so please submit it to us beforehand or join us next week so we can answer it for them. There were a lot that came through that we did not get.
Any people who submitted questions that we didn't get, please resubmit those to our Instagram DM or a TikTok DM or a YouTube DM, and we will try to add those onto our paper for next week, and we'll try to get to them. And I know I had quite a few people that I didn't get to on this one as well. I love the interaction of being able to see people who are live as well. We will get to all the ones here first next week, and we'll get to the ones that didn't get answered here as well if we can refine them. Okay, guys, thank you for joining. We'll see you next Wednesday. Have a great day. Oh, I get to do my awkward smile now.